Hey everyone, it's Rob from Hypop and welcome back to another video. In this one, we're in studio today because we have an exciting brand new product from Godox. It's the LD75R. Thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because we always try to unbox the latest gear from brands such as Godox. Don't forget to hit that notification bell to be updated of any new content we release. Leave a like on the video if it's helped you. Feel free to leave down in the comment section below your thoughts or if you have any questions about the Godox LD75R. Follow us on social media at Hypop and visit our website, hypop.com.au. Let's get into it. So we've got our hands on the brand new Godox LD75R, which is Godox's brand new RGB LED light panels. So if you're familiar with Godox's range of continuous lights, they've released a few other RGB type lights, specifically the smaller ones, such as the Godox R1 or the Godox M1. They also have light sticks such as the LC500R, as well as the COB LED lights, the SZ150R. So this new series, which is the LD series, is a brand new range of RGB LED panels. So you can see here just from the photo on the box, the type of light it is. You can see it's a panel, it's got built-in barn doors. So it's an exciting new product and entry from Godox. So if you're familiar with the range of RGB panels on the market, something that's really popular at the moment, which is the Aperture P300C Nova, this one here is sort of like a smaller version of that type of light. So when we jump in and take a closer look at the features, you'll notice a lot of similarities with these lights. There's 3 different models that are available in the LD series. So this one here is the 75R, there's also the 150R and the 150RS. So let's jump into the box and take a closer look at what's included. So there we have it. That's the case that the LD75R comes in. You can see it's a really neat case. It's got the Godox branding at the front there. You've got a couple of shoulder strap holders here on the sides. You've got your carry handle, as well as a little luggage window or a business card holder there. Now let's look inside. There we have it. So you've got a standard sort of clamshell type closure here for your bag. You've got a little compartment here with a netted mesh opening that you can see through. It's good for all the accessories and everything. We've got some foam there. So firstly we have the manual. We've got the power cable. We've also got the power adapter. And you've got the light itself. Now one last thing to note inside the bag, you've also got the shoulder strap. That shoulder strap there is to attach to the sides there. Firstly, some of the major specs of the light. It has RGB, CCT, and HSI mode. It has a color temperature range of 2500 Kelvin to 8500 Kelvin. It has a CRI rating of 96 and a TLCI rating of 97. It also has Lee and Roscoe filter gel options, as well as a magenta green color shift. It really is a super versatile light. And for its shape, which is a LED panel, you can see there'd be so many practical uses for this light, whether it be, focusing in on a subject, creating a more dramatic look. There are accessories available for them too, including soft boxes and grids. Or if you just want a widespread and, flood an area, you can do that too. Now, some physical features, you can see here there's a yoke bar, and this is great because you can see the actual light itself rotates on this yoke bar. You have a couple of handles here, and what you'll notice is that all these gray parts, as well as these yellow accent parts here in the corners, they're all made from plastic. And plastic usually means low quality or it's a cheaper build, but in this case they really are using a fairly high quality plastic there. It doesn't feel cheap at all. The plastic itself would probably reduce on the weight of the light itself because the light itself weighs 3.5 kilos, which is good. So that'll suit most heavy duty stands as well as C stands. All the control panels here at the back of the light, you'll see there's a couple of vents here for the fan. So there's a couple of fans on board here. And you also have some vents at the top here, which would probably be just for further heat dissipation when the light's on. Obviously, when it's at full strength, it'll generate quite a bit of heat. You'll notice a battery plate at the back here, so that's the V-Lock mount battery plate, as well as Obviously power via AC with the provided AC adapter. On the bottom of the light here are a few additional controls. So you have your DMX in and out. You've also got, you've got five pin XLR in and out for DMX. You've also got a USB port. So these USB ports for firmware updates, as well as providing power to any other USB devices via cable. And you've got your on-off switch also. Now on the front, you can see the light itself is fairly streamlined and clean in design. You've got a built-in barn door with your standard 4-leaf barn door here, and that helps you cut the light a bit further, and you've got your LEDs at the front here with a diffuser scrimp on the front already. Some other specs include the LED beam angle is 60 degrees. You also have a lux rating at 1 meter of 9,320 lux. The light itself, you can dim it from 0 to 100%. But let's take a closer look at this menu, because when we jump into mode, you can see here there are 3 menu options. Firstly, you've got CCT, then you've got RGB, HSI, RGel, LGel, and FX. The rest of them are pretty much self-explanatory except for RGel and LGel. So RGel and LGel, Godox have renamed these options here. They used to be called Roscoe and Lee, but now they've just named them RGel and LGel. Self-explanatory which one's which. However, let's just jump into CCT. And here what you'll see straight away is you'll be able to use the right dial here to pretty much control all the options when navigating through the menu. And then you press down to enter into the menu. And from here you have 4 dials to control. You've got your green magenta shift dial, you've got your CCT dial, you've also got your dimmer dial too. So your dimmer dial controls the intensity there. And basically each of these dials here have preset options as you press down on the dial itself. So when you're pressing down on the dial, you can see it's gone to a -26 magenta shift. And you can also fine tune it with the dial itself. And then with CCT, for example, you have presets as you're going through the scale of 2500 Kelvin to 8500 Kelvin. So you can see 25, 33, 42, 56, 65, 75, and then 8500 Kelvin. And you also have the dimmer here, which can control from 0 to 100%. And when you press down on it, it actually just turns off the light totally. Just brings it down to 0%. And the great thing about these dials are that you can actually fine tune everything in pretty much 1% or 100K increments. So really fine tuning your light. So for example, I'm on 15% right now, but if I want to go into say 33%, I can do that with some fine tuning. However, if you need to get to a certain setting really quickly, you can actually just spin the actual dial really quickly, which is good. And that goes the same for the CCT too. So if I can just go all the way to 2500 Kelvin and then all the way to 8500 Kelvin, or if I want to fine tune 100K increments, I can go down or up and really fine tune to get to that right color. And the same goes with the magenta shift. You also have 4 buttons at the bottom here, and these 4 buttons are presets, so you can save some light settings that you have and have them at a touch basically, so that way you're not having to always get back to those settings, especially when you're on set. Now you have 4 buttons at the top here, and these 4 buttons basically allow you to navigate through the menu. There's the mode, which obviously brings this mode menu up. There's lock too, so if you hold down on lock, this will actually lock the screen, and that way no one can go up and touch these and accidentally bump some of the settings. And you also have the back button here, so that just gets back to certain things. So if you've gone into one menu, you can go back and that'll go back into the other menu option. Now the next option is RGB, and RGB here you have your classic RGB dials here. So from 0 to 255, you can really fine tune and get that RGB setting for that, and also controlling the saturation as well as intensity of the light there. So that's the dimming intensity there, as well as the saturation when you press down. Now jumping into the next option, which is your HSI. And HSI, you're obviously controlling your hue, your saturation, and the intensity. So you can control the intensity with the dials. All of these options are actually underneath and written on the bottom here of each of the dials. So for this option, you've got your H, S, and I. So it's good that they've also got separate dials for each of the settings too, so that way you're not having to use just one dial to control through, or maybe a touch screen, which is a little bit less sort of convenient. There you're controlling the saturation, so you can see I'm going for a fairly intense pink color here. Now the next option here is your R-gel, and your R-gel here, so if you know what Roscoe gel that you'd like the light to be compatible to, you have all the options here to choose from, and then you can also control the dimming and the intensity of the light with that particular gel on. You've also got the Lee gels too, so you can get to that certain Lee gel that you require, as well as controlling the dimming. And then the effects, which of course every RGB light has. You've got all your standard like RGB cycle, you know, paparazzi, you've got pulsating there, you've also got lightning, fault bulb, TV, candlelight, campfire, fireworks, police car, fire engine, ambulance, and you also have the music mode, which is pretty cool because a lot of Godox RGB lights, you can see there as I'm talking, the light itself is flickering because it has an inbuilt microphone and it's picking up. So that's fairly cool, especially perhaps for like a music video. The only downside for the music mode really is going to be that you can't control the pattern, I suppose, of the light while you're in music mode, but it's a cool effect to have. And you've also got SOS. Now each of these effects actually have 2 to 3 different variants of that effect. So you can see fireworks has 1, 2, and 3. And really that's just increasing the speed of that type of effect. So despite there being about 14 effects, you have about 2 or 3 of each. Now one thing to take note of is that there's an actual menu also where you can control the different ways to control the light itself. So I've been controlling it via the onboard dials here as well as the screen. But you can control this wirelessly via the Godox app. So Godox have a new app, it's called the Godox Light app, which is really convenient to control, especially if you're controlling groups of lights, because this one here supports 32 groups and 16 channels. So that means you can really have a mixture of lights, not just the LD series, but maybe a mixture of other Godox lights. Use them together and control everything at the touch of either the app or also the optional remote control. So the remote control is the Godox RCR9, which is their RGB remote control. It controls most of their other RGB lights too. When you're in the menu, you can see wireless, Bluetooth, or DMX mode. So if you're using the DMX ports, either the cat cable or the 5-pin XLR, then you can use that. And you also have fan. So fan, the good thing about this one here is that you can actually get it to silent mode. So as I mentioned before, there are 2 fans here and you do hear them. They're not loud. Definitely if you're using low pass filters with your audio equipment, you're not gonna be picking up a lot of this, but you can actually turn the fan off, which is great. So you can turn that off, and I've instantly been able to turn these off, and I can hear that that's now been turned off also. But the only thing to take note of that is when you are on fan off mode, you can see that I can only dim it up to 50%. So that means you're not getting the full intensity of the light. In most cases, you can see there 50% is quite bright. Up on the back wall here, you can see that it's intense. However, that is something to take note of, especially if you need it in silent mode. And you've also got screen brightness, so you can control the screen brightness of the screen here, the onboard screen. You've got language, which is basically just English and Chinese there. And you've got the version and reset. So reset is basically just factory resetting the light. And that's really done if you've sort of hit a certain setting and you've perhaps, you don't know what's happened. Maybe it's not connecting up to your wireless device. Maybe the Bluetooth pairing's not working or something. Then it's good to factory reset. It's good to have that option on board. Now, some other things to take note of on the actual light itself. You can see there is a safety tether on the light too. So if you're mounting this to a light stand, you can actually tether this also further to the light stand to ensure that the light doesn't topple over or anything, especially important if you have it up on a boom. And yeah, having that wireless control of the light is great too, because when you do have it up on a boom, you don't want to always go up to the light and have to control the dials there. It's just good to be able to use the app or the remote control to control the light itself. So the LD series of lights have 3 different models available. Firstly is the 75R, which is a 75 watt LED panel. They've also got the LD150RS, which is basically a bigger version of this one here. It's 150 watts. So the measurements of this actual light here are about 40 centimeters by 40 centimeters. It's about like 44 by 41 centimeters and about 10 centimeters in thickness. Whereas the bigger version, the 150 RS, is about 50 centimeters. So it's not too much bigger, but it's double the output, which is great. You've also got a wider panel, which is the LD150R. And that one there is more of a sort of horizontal panel. And if you want a wider throw of light, perhaps, that'll be perfect for that type of sort of lighting setup. However, there are 3 different models to choose from, which really make this entire LD series range a versatile lighting range. Now for RGB lights in general, really their main purpose is for creative lighting effects. So what we'll do is we'll throw some photos up on screen of us using different sort of RGB lights and type of effects and photos that you can get from these types of lights. Of course, you can also shoot a lot of videos with them too. So many different uses for this light. The fact that it has so many different color temperature modes, RGB modes, HSI modes, you've got more than 13 million different color options on the light itself. You've also got the lighting effects, you've got the Roscoe and Lee gel filters, as well as the color shift of your magenta green color shift. This light really packs in all the features that you need from a continuous light. If you're after a light in general that will be basically covering all bases for your lighting setup, this is the one to look at. Or perhaps you're wanting to add this light to a current configuration that you already have. So if you've got a lighting setup, maybe you're shooting YouTube live stream, or you have a project in mind that you need continuous lights for, this would be a great addition to your kit. For more videos just like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be updated of any new content we release. Leave a like on the video if it's helped you. Feel free to leave down in the comments section below your thoughts, or if you have any questions about the LD series of lights. Follow us on social media at Hypop and visit our website, hypop.com.au. Thanks for watching.